Okay, good evening. We're on Daf Mem Aleph Amud Aleph, which did the Mishnah regarding Tam and Muad, and we're finally approaching a question that's been on my mind for 40 dafim. I remember there was a question about it, but I remember where it was, and here it is. We said that if that animal kills, you have to kill it right away, and if it kills 3 times, it becomes Muad. So the Gemara says, if you have to kill the ox, if the first 3 times, how do you ever have a case where it hits 3 times? That it'll become a mu'ad. Gemara says, it didn't kill 3 times, it tried to kill 3 times. And it didn't actually kill them. The Gemara says, it doesn't make sense. It tried to kill it, it wanted to kill them. It doesn't count. We were talking about it damaged, it wounded 3 people enough to cause them fatal injuries. And then they all died at the same time after the third goring, and they died after the third goring, right? So Ozzy, you'll catch up. We started like a minute ago. So they could go on the few lines from the Gemara. The Gemara asked, well, how do you have a case of muad that it kills 3 times if you have to kill it after each time? So the Gemara brought one answer. The second answer we just brought is they were wounded 3 people, and then they all died afterward, so therefore it's a 3-in-1. And the Gemara says the Gemara doesn't like that answer. Rav Zuzi said where it killed 3 animals. So therefore they didn't have to die after each time because the gorings were animals. The Gemara says does that mean when you kill animals you're muad also for a person? Definitely not. We had the opposite. We said if you are muad for an adam, you're muad for behemah because it's more scared of people. We are around 8 lines from the Gemara on Daf Mem Aleph Murav. The Gemara says, "Amar Rav Sini," different answer. Where it killed 3 goyim, you don't have to kill it. The Gemara says, "No, but that it should be muad for goyim, but not Jews." The Gemara says, "Amar Rav Shimon ben Lakish." It killed 3 people who were terefot, which means they were borderline dead. Right, people who have fatal problem in their body, so therefore it's not killed for it because it didn't kill someone who's it didn't kill someone who's alive. It killed someone who's dying. Like the example we gave last time of this concept is if someone throws a baby off a roof and then someone else kills it in midair, he didn't kill anything that's alive. He killed something that's dying already, and therefore the person who killed the baby is not chayav. So the person, the Gemara tried to say that if you killed 3 people who are terefot, who were dying, then it's not chayav mita because it didn't kill a live person, and that's the case of muad. The Gemara says a muad terefa have a muad shalem, a person, but if it's muad for killing terefot, that's not considered a muad for killing regular people. The Gemara says it's where it killed 3 times, and after each time it killed, it escaped Betin's clutches. And it couldn't be killed by Betin. It escaped to the swamp, literally. And then it killed again and went to the swamp. And over here, now that it's his 3rd time killing and escaping, now you have to pay nezek shalem. There we are. Zomamin, right? We know a case of zomamin. Ed zomem is generally in a non-case of zomamin. If I testify something and someone testifies against me, nothing happens because it's your word against mine. Obviously, 2 and 2. However, Zomamin, the special Hidush from the Torah that teaches you that if 2 people testify on something, and then 2 people testify on him saying, "Hey, how did you guys testify on about Sunday afternoon? You were with us." So the halacha is, like we said before, that if that happens, the people who were testifying the first and got zomemd, they were caught lying. They have to do whatever they were trying to do. They're trying to kill a guy, they get killed. They're trying to make the guy pay, they pay instead. So over here, we said in this case, how do we have a case of a shor becoming mu'ad? It's where witnesses who testified became zomem, and then the witnesses who disqualified them became zomem. Right? So the witnesses testified about the goring. Then they got zomemd, right? And other people said, "Hey, how did you testify about the goring? You weren't there." Then those witnesses got zomemd, right? Therefore, the witnesses who testified on the goring are back alive, are back to truth, because the witnesses who tried to the original witnesses who were saying the animal gored are saying the truth, because the witnesses who said they were zomemed, they got knocked out. So now their original testimony with the animals came back, right? So therefore, if those witnesses were testifying about the gorings, and then we stopped the animal from getting killed because they got zomemed, and then we disqualified the disqualifying edim, now the original gorings fall back onto the animal, and now it's a mu'ad, and it wasn't killed yet. That makes sense if you have to have it separate occasions. Shapir, that makes sense. Because the owner became aware of all three at the same time. Because, well, how? The witnesses testified on ABC, and then they got disqualified, and then the disqualification became disqualified, and now the ox became mu'ad, and they have to pay kofar. However, according to the opinion, but if you want to make that makes sense according to the opinion that you just got to have 3 times. However, if it's more about making the owner mu'ad, meaning you have to have 3 separate occasions where you're telling the owner, hey, your animal gored, you better be careful. And then a second time, hey, your animal gored, you better be careful. And the third time, that doesn't fit in this case. Meimar Amaleh, he can tell the court, right? Because what's happening? All 3 original testimonies are now falling into one shot because the disqualifying, the original edim are now getting reestablished as good edim, and now all 3 goring testimonies are popped in. So he can tell them, 1 second, that's not fair to me. Lo habedina, I did not know my ox got killed. I did not know my ox killed 3 times because until now I thought they were lying. They got zomemed. Oh, now those zomim got zomemed, and therefore the original testimony of my ox came true. Fine, but that did not make me realize that I have to take care of my ox. Right? According to this opinion, you have to have 3 separate occasions as a warning to the owner. Besides for making the animal mu'ad, you're making the owner more responsible. The owner has to know, according to this opinion, that okay, my animal's a killer. I gotta be careful. So therefore, if you're saying that this guy can knock out all 3 shots in one shot because of the disqualification of the zomamin, then the owner can tell him it's not fair. So Gemara says, he says, no, he's referring to a case where each time his ox killed, the owner was watching it happen as well. All right, so so he's watching this whole fiasco start regarding these edim testifying and his oxen, and then those edim getting zomemed, and then the zomemin edim getting zomemed themselves. But the thing is, he knew his ox was a goring ox. You know why? Because he was there the entire time. He saw it happen. So he can't say, oh, I didn't know my ox was a killer. Another case for saying why the ox wasn't killed in the case of the Mishnah. Ravina Amar, no answer. The makirin the bala is short, but in the makirin is short. In the case, we could say that the first 2 gorings recognize the owner of the ox, but you weren't sure which ox it was. Therefore, you're able to warn the owner that you had a killer ox, but he didn't necessarily have the ox killed because he didn't know which ox it was. And then the 3rd time, you could say that, oh, that was the ox. Yeah, that was the same ox as the first 2 times, and therefore they triple up the gorings, and now it's a mu'ad. In that case, why should he pay kofar? Why? How is he supposed to guard his animal better if he doesn't know which animal it is? Where it says Mishum da Amar, because he should have said Torah. Right? We had this concept before. If you know you have a killer ox in your flock, you better be more careful. All right. Mishnah said Zeh bezeh haydim mita. A tam and mu'ad are chayav mita for killing a person. Supposed to give it skila, and you can't even eat the animal. I know from the fact that the pasuk says that the ox will be stoned. Of course, it'll be nevela. And you can't eat it. Why do you need to say that you cannot eat the meat? All right, it teaches you a famous concept we had before. Let's say you jumped ahead. Before they killed the ox, you jumped and you slaughtered the cow with shahita, you can't eat it. Because the Torah said that you're supposed to stone it and you can't eat it. So now I know that I can't eat it. But how do I know I can't get hana'ah? Let's say I want to take the hide and sell the fur. The owner of the ox shall remain clean. My mashmahaim, that means clean from it. It's legit like a English terminology. Shemen ben Omer, kiram shemen lachaviro yatsa ish ploni naki menechasav ve'en mo ba'hanaem shel klum. Right? So and so got cleaned out of his possessions. He had nothing else left. Right? We understand it because it's an English term as well. The guy got cleaned out. So too over here, the pasuk says that he's cleaned out from his ox. He can't have any hana'ah at all. We might do lo yachal b'sero lehecha d'shchatul achni lomas she'asur ba'achila. Why do we say that? The fact that it said lo yachal b'sero teaches you that he can't. It has to be referring to a case where he slaughtered it after it got judged already, and it's therefore telling you can't eat the meat. Maybe he's teaching you that you can eat it after it got judged. Anytime it says those lashonot in the Torah, it means that you can not only can't eat it, but you can't have hana'ah. For example, same concept as those type of concepts where you have it saying one thing, but it means that not only you can't eat it or cook it, you can't even have hana'ah. Until it specifies to you, like the same way it's specified to you by a nevela. What did it say by nevela? Lager bintina lovet kafin that you're able to give it to a non-Jew, or you can sell it to a goy, or you can give it to a dog. Right? So the only time it says in the Torah that you can't eat it, but you can use it, is by nevela. It could say you want to give it to the dog, you can sell it, etc. But in general, when it says you can't eat it, you can't have hana'ah. Where it says, so therefore, when it says that you can't eat it, maybe it means maybe you should be able to eat it. When Rabbi Abahu says that eating means you can't have hana'ah, it only applies to a time where the eating and the hana'ah comes from the same word of don't eat it, like basar v'chalad. But over here we already know you can't eat it because it said it has to get stoned. Therefore, why didn't the pasuk just write you shouldn't get benefit? Inami, or could have written lo ye'achel, it shouldn't be eaten. Et bisaro lamali, why did it specifically write its flesh? To teach you a chidush. The afagam, the abdillah ki in basar da shahteh asur. Even if you slaughtered it, it is asur. Matkif la mor zutra ema hani. That only maybe mor zutra has a question. Maybe that only means that you can't eat it if it was slaughtered. Maybe that only applies. Hecha de badak sod v'shahatpo. We turn the page. Beep. Right. That only applies where he inspected a stone and he slaughtered it quickly. The avde ke en sekila, because maybe that's considered sekila. He used a stone to slaughter it. Maybe when he used a knife, it should be still be asur. Gemara says, "La amri atu sakin k'diya b'raita." It doesn't say you slaughter with a knife, right? You never said in the Torah you have to slaughter with a knife. Any type of slaughtering is good. But someone slaughtered with the scythe, like the thing that used for harvesting, or a rock, or a reed. Any type of slaughtering is good as long as it's a good type of blade. Where it says, now that we know that you learned you can't eat it or have hana'ah from the words of you can't eat its meat, then why do I need to teach me that it has to be clean? Right? We said, you have to be clean from the animal means you can't have any hana'ah. Okay, but I already know that. Where it says, you can't even have hana'ah from the hide. Right? Because if it only said basar, you might think you can't have the meat. But maybe I can have the hide. Maybe I want to take the hooves and use it as a trophy. Maybe only the meat. Maybe the hide should be benefited from. You should be completely clean from the animal in all aspects. According to Tanaim, who used that pasuk that the owner of the ox should be clean for something else, like we'll explain soon. How do we know that you can't have a hide? Right, so that makes sense according to the opinion that holds that it's you could use it from the pasuk of naki. But let's say you use the word pasuk naki to teach something else. How do you know that you can't have the hide? Whenever the word et is there in the whole Torah, the rabbis learn now, the word et teaches you something else. Something's included. Otherwise, it could have said vi. So whenever there's an et in the Torah, it means thing is included. And therefore, what is et? It means something that's attached to the body, which is what? My nihu oro, the hide. According to the other Braita, who learns that you need the word naki to teach you it, he holds I don't learn etin in the Torah. The Tanya of the Braita. We had this before in Masechet Kiddushin. It says this rabbi used to learn what every single et in the Torah came to include, to teach you. Once he got to the part where it said et Hashem Elokecha tirash, et Hashem your God you shall fear, et sounds like you're trying to include something to God. He said, no. I can't add anything to God. No one's compared to God. They have to fear him. The students told him, Rabbi, quoting Shitarash Tamati line, what will be with all the etim that you learned from now? Right? You spend so much time on it. He says, Amar Lehem, the same way I learned, I got rewarded by I'll get rewarded by sechar for learning it. I'll also get rewarded from Hashem sechar for stopping to learn it. He's saying, listen, I have to stop. I don't know how to explain it this, and therefore I'm stopping completely. Until Rabbi Akiva fixed it and said, no, you're able to learn something. Hamid HaChamim are included in the fear of God. You have to have fear for them as well. Okay, to number 9. Ubala Shornaki, the owner of the ox has to be clean. What does that mean? We're explaining right now, right? We just brought it down. Naki mehatzi kofer, the owner of a tam that kills is patur from half kofer, either all or nothing. But what do you mean? How do you patur? You have to pay half kofer. You have to pay from the body of the animal, right? And a tam pays half damages from the body of the animal. Let the owner bring the ox to court and he'll pay you. Where it says, do you think so little of me that I mean that the ox is chayad mita? He's like, of course, I know. Yeah, it's chayad mita. And therefore you have to use it to pay kofar. Only time where the ox, where I'm telling you, it's patur, it's in the case where it killed someone, but there's only one aid. Or al pi ba'alim, or only if the owner is testifying about it. In that case, you can use the money of the animal to pay half, but you don't have to slaughter the animal. One second. If the owner is admitting to it, we had this a couple times already, this Masechet. If he's admitting to it, and kofer is a knas, or chatzin nezek is a knas, and a knas, if you admit to it, you're patur. Modeh beknas patur. So therefore, he should be patur. If the owner is admitting to it. The Gemara says, Kasavar kufra kapara. No, the Bezer holds, according to the opinion we said yesterday, 2 days ago, that kofer, the concept of kofer, of paying the paying for someone who died from your animal, you're paying for your own atonement, and therefore it's not a knas. You should have to pay it still. Taneidah, the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Lazar, Akiva kachani benecha shdini bazeh shachem ita. You think so little of me? It's referring to the case where the ox was trying to kill an animal and then killed a person. Or tried to kill a mitzri and ended up killing a Jew. Or tried to kill a baby that was dying and it actually killed a regular person. Right? In all these cases, since it didn't try to kill someone, a regular person, it was quote unquote a mistake. Therefore, the animal is not dying, and instead you're paying half kofar. Therefore, that's the chidush. Hey, Amar leBeresha. What did he originally say to him? Right? Rav Kahana Mashmei Rava Amar Mitkaven Amar leBeresha. Initially, he told Rabbi Akiva that the answer is regarding kavanah. Right? The first answer we gave. The second answer we gave. Really, the concept is kavanah. Right? Because we had 2 braytot on how to explain the Eliezer. No, the case where he said the ox killed according to the one ed is what he told him first. Now, why we have two explanations of this brayta? Which one do we like more? Rav Kahana said that Rebbe initially told Rabbi Akiva the concept of kavanah. The animal accidentally killed the wrong thing. It's a comparable, right? It's comparable to a fisherman who tried to fish something from the sea. And when he finds large fish in his net, he takes them. And then if he finds small fish, he also takes them. What does that mean? Even though Rabbi Eliezer already had a good explanation for his halacha of the kofer, He still wanted to bring in other examples that make sense. It's a good answer. Meaning, so he brought his good answer first of the kavanah, then he brought a second answer, the answer of the single witness. No, according to Tuvimi, he says no. The answer that he said of the single witness came first. It's comparable to a case where the fisherman is trapping fish. He finds a small fish first, then he takes it in. And then, okay, nothing else. Then he finds something better. When he finds the big one, he throws away the small one, takes the big one. So according to this opinion, Eliezer first gave the first answer of the single witness, which is the weaker answer. And then he kished it because he thought of a better answer of the case where the animal accidentally killed the wrong target. And he liked that even more. One more drasha. Taneidach, a different explanation of the pasuk. When the animal's owner is clean from the animal, he's patur from paying a penalty or the price if it killed in a pregnant woman. He doesn't have to pay for the fetus. We already know that if a person was fighting and he accidentally killed a fetus of a pregnant woman, anashim v'lo only people are chayav for that damage, and not oxen. Why would you think that the animal is chayav for the fetus? Why do you need a pasuk to teach me you're chayav for a fetus if you have a different pasuk? We'll continue from here tomorrow.